Hey guys, this is the Staff Sarge coming to you for Operation Number 5. And this one will be a lot better than the last one. Everything's better than the last one, to be honest. But before we actually get into it, just want to take a sec to say, thank you to everyone who's taken the time to watch this, and especially to those who are making the comments, give me criticism, what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. I really do appreciate that. It's the only way I can actually make this thing. I want this to be something that everyone who's watching it actually enjoys watching. As much as I love the game and I love playing through it, recording it, doing all this, it's pretty pointless if it's something that only I enjoy, so I just like sharing that. So again, thanks to everyone, and with that said, let's jump into Operation Number 5, which is the industry raid. Now this one is a lot better than the escort one. It's challenging, but it's not evil.
This
explain the sec.
contract is pretty straightforward. We need to drop their power grid and take out the objective buildings. The Black Cobra mercenaries defending the base have a mix of light and medium mechs in the area. A prolonged engagement could go badly for us. Use discretion in engaging them head-on.
Alright, so the idea for this mission is you just have to go in and blow up a whole bunch of buildings. Now there's a defense grid around Delta, but if you swing around through Alpha, you're able to get in no problem, and then you just have to worry about tanks and mechs. Now, I said it's challenging without being evil. The last mission is just stupid because, the long time keep on getting themselves killed. But, this one, there's a lot of challenge to go on, but if you got the skills, then you're all good. Now, what I'm changing with the way the Let's Play works now is I'm actually going to show you. I'm not going to show you me modifying the mechs, but I'll give you the loadouts of what I've done. So, for example, the Chimera hot plate here, AC-10, X large pulse laser, and a medium pulse laser. So, I don't really have all that much weaponry to play around with, and I decided not to bother with any kind of missiles. Just strap in the AC-10, let him go at it with that one, and it gives him okay firepower, but he should be right. Next, we have the Owen, strangely symmetrical. This one is pretty light on anything except weapons, which surprisingly enough it can pack a fair bit. So twin SRMs, the Ultra AC-5, fair amount of punch. Although, because it's only a light mech, so it doesn't get much on the meter up there. It should be able to augment our firepower nicely. Now the Hellspawn, of course, it's got LRM racks. That's what it was designed for. How many LRMs? LRM-10 and an LRM-15. Both Clanner ones, so they're fairly light. That should be able to put a lot of firepower on it. I've also had to put on a lot of heat sinks because both the LRMs and the large X-pulse laser, even with 8 heat sinks on the bloody thing, it's still not very efficient, as you can see there. But it's got a ton of firepower and it's pretty well armored. Although Hellspawns generally aren't well armored to start with. All of these mechs have just got ferrofibrous, by the way. Like I said, I don't bother with reflective or reactive. And finally, here's my ride, the Hellhound we took from the last mission, which has got a fair bit of speed, good amount of heat sinks, and is equipped with the LBX-10. Now, normal AC-10 fires shells that are around 75 to 90 millimeters in size. Now, normal AC just fires standard high explosive shells. The Ultra ones fire 2 shells. The LBX fires buckshot. And while that might not seem very effective against vehicles, consider that it's it's around 88mm shells of buckshot. That'll fuck things up in a hurry. And as I said, I like streak SRMs, so I got a set of those, and a pair of large lasers for long range punch. So a good amount of firepower and armor. The legs are pretty weakly armored, but I don't really have the tonnage to protect them up. Now it says it's got pretty much no speed, but the Hellhound's still pretty fast, so it should be right. And it still asks me to do those repairs. So there you go, we got Claymore, Bulldog, and Hannibal. Based on some advice, I got rid of Rufus, and to be honest, I have no regrets. So they're the ones who are going to be riding into battle with me. And without any further ado, let's get into the mission itself.
Initial recon of the base spotted a hole in the turret defense grid north of the complex and east of your current position. If you head directly to nav point Alpha, you should get a good approach on the base without triggering their defenses.
Roger, Control. Is Bird Dog still in the area?
Unknown. At least one of the defending mechs has a Beagle active probe and has been on perimeter patrol in their vicinity. Bird Dog went power down and radio silence an hour ago.
Copy. We'll keep an eye
Now
out.
that's
Okay,
that little bit
Inspector
about the
Lance,
whole
form
Bird
up on
Dog
me and give a ready report.
being hidden somewhere. That's just a bit of mission fluff. He isn't actually in the map
Intel
area.
reports were up against Burr's Black Cobras. They're a hodgepodge merc
It's
unit
one of the
with
more
a couple
annoying
of
things
mixed
about this game.
medium
It's the
and
one
heavy
thing that
Lances.
everyone who's played
All reports indicate only their
Mercenaries
medium assets
complains
are in the
about.
area,
It's
but
that
you never know. Stay
you hear about
sharp.
Bird Dog and like, oh, he must be hiding somewhere on the map. Maybe we can go find him as a bonus objective. No, as far as I can tell, he isn't anywhere here. So, a pointless bit of fluff that just causes confusion. Now those Calibes, I probably could have shot at them, but why bother? There's a massive gap in their defense line. We can just head around to the back
Castle, this is
and
Spectre.
shoot at their
I'm at
generators.
Alpha and have visual on the base.
From Alpha,
Of course,
you
they
should
still
be
have a
able to
shitload
take
of
out their main
tanks.
generator and drop their turret grid. The remaining objective buildings are in the vicinity of Beta and Gamma. You may need to move down into the base to target them all.
Now, the armor we got there are Myrmidons and Quad Panzers. Quad Panzers aren't all that common. They're an anti-aircraft tank with a crapload of AP5s. Myrmidons, though, they're about as common as the Bulldog. They're pretty similar, actually. They come equipped with a PPC and a good amount of armor. So just unload on this generator right here. That is powering that Calliope that I accidentally walked in range of. Yeah, my piece of advice, don't do what I
Inspector
did.
engaging Black Cobra, medium
Stay at
lengths.
range.
This is Lieutenant Dunman of the Black Cobras. You're outclassed here.
Sentries are
Stand
down.
down and we'll let you leave with your mix.
Ha! We'll leave with our mechs, all right. And yours, strapped to a salvage track.
Commander, we don't have to
What?
take out the Black Cobras on this run. You
Son of
can
a, okay,
take
so
out
just another
buildings
hit.
and
I got hit by a
excavation area.
PPC from one of those
Roger, Control.
Myrmidons.
I'm aware of the mission parameters.
That bit of static that hits your HUD, that's what happens when you get hit by
Generator
one
is
of those.
history. Turrets are offline.
Good news is, Myrmidons are heavily armoured. Not as much. Quad Panzers not so much, but you hit them with 2 large lasers, they go down.
Target destroyed.
Now, Burr's Black Cobras, they are... You could say that they're the foil of your mercenary company. They're... As you can see, they've got pretty similar equipment. They're running 4 mediums, 2 chimeras and 2 bushwhackers. And they do pop up a couple other times in the campaign. So again, you can compare them as being a like an adversary mercenary company. Now they're running with chimeras, which are being torn up fairly well here. See, that one's just lost all his weapons. But the other ones which seem to be fucking up Bulldog and Hannibal are the bushwhackers. And those guys, if you get a hold of one, it's always good times, but fighting against them isn't fun because for the same reason why it's always good having them. They're an exceptionally good medium battle mech. They're 55 tons, which is the heaviest a medium mech can get. God, and there goes one of my lasers. It's the problem with having weapons in your arms. The Bushwhacker it's a pretty fast mech. It's well armored. It's got a whole range of weaponry. Generally, it has an AC-10 in one arm. It's got LRM racks all over the place. It's got lasers for backup, and it's an all-around good mech. It's not as popular in tabletop, I understand, because of the fact that the loadout is so... it doesn't really specialize anywhere, which makes it weak against mechs that, do, like against a Hunchback for close combat, or a Catapult for long range, it doesn't do as well. But it's capable of responding to just about any situation, which is always handy. This guy's about to go down. Now, the LBX-10, as I said...
Depot is history.
Shiny. The LBX-10, as I've said, is a shotgun autocannon. So what that means in game terms is normally when you hit a location on a mech, you just do damage to that location. Hit him in the center torso, and you take away armor on the center torso. Hit the legs, take away armor on the legs, so on and so forth. That's what normal AC-10s do with the high explosive rounds. The LBX version, on the other hand, randomly does damage to locations. I'm not sure how it all works, but it'll randomly do damage to areas around the location you hit. So hit him in the like the left torso with an LBX, and you'll do damage to the center torso and the arms, maybe. Now, honestly, they're not as good as the regular ACs because of the fact that you're dividing up damage across locations. But if you're like me and your aim isn't exactly the best, especially in a fast brawl like this, it does come in handy because you can just unload anywhere and you're guaranteed to eventually start knocking out systems, take out their legs, and eventually knock them down like that. As final bushwhacker's about to go too. There we go. So that's it for the Black Cobras. Now, you could easily just ignore them, but, you know, then you don't get salvage. Plus they'll be shooting at you, and... Actually, one sec, I just gotta go check something here. Okay, sorry about that. The factories, buildings tend to take a bit of firepower, and your landsmates will never engage them, so I was just seeing, if you press Q, which, thanks to the goons for pointing this out to me, you can target whatever's underneath your cursor, but it doesn't appear to work with buildings.
Inspector reporting mission successful.
So that's a bit of a problem.
Let's get a salvage team in here to pick
down.
up mechs and strip those turrets.
Affirmative, sir. Salvage is en route.
So you could just run in, take out the buildings, and then run out again, but again, you don't get mech salvage, and while you're doing it, they have free range, taking you out.
Quote, "It's nice to see mercenaries who can get the job done."
A nice bit of salvage there as well. So 2 bushwhackers on the Chimera, a bunch of weaponry, and not too much damage. I lost a laser, and we had 2 mechs damaged that need to be repaired. But that could have gone a lot worse, especially because that was a pretty even fight. And I got a lot of mechs that need to be repaired. And I can't afford it. Yeah, that's the problem with the early game. You don't... If you take heavy damage like that, you might not be able to repair everything. Oh, son of a... And also, because of that damage, I don't believe I'll have enough mechs to arm up my lance for the next mission. So, that's fantastic. Alright, I'll probably need to have a muck around, sell off some of those weapons we got, and see what we're able to get working. And then once again, it's us through the time. So, the final mission will be Offshore B. This is the one to close out Halaron, and then after that we can head on to the next planet. Offshore B will be, it's exactly the same, it's another coast defense mission, but this time there'll actually be mechs. And as you can see, because of all the damage I've taken, even though I've captured a whole bunch of mechs, because they're not available to me to use, my MRBC rating's gone down. So that was Operation number 5. Like I said, it's a nice challenging mission without being frustrating like the last one. And the next one will be, it'll be about the same. It's, you know, a lot of vehicles, a couple of mechs, fast and furious action, but nothing too hard for us to handle. So I'll see you guys around for Operation number 6. The mech of the mission for Operation 5 is the BSW X1 Bushwhacker, a 55-ton medium mech from the Federated Suns. Originally a testbed for new design techniques to make smaller profile and thus harder to hit battle mechs, serious problems with the engine and electronics from their placement forced Tharhes to abandon the design. It wasn't until the clan invasion of 3050 and the capture of the blueprints for a Vulture Omni-Mech that these problems were finally resolved, as the Vulture, or Mad Dog, had similar problems the clans had to overcome. Once sorted, the Bushwhacker proved itself an effective open-field combat machine. Equipped with 2 sets of LRMs and an ER large laser, it is capable of dishing out a good amount of damage at standoff range, while an AC-10 gives a tremendous medium-range punch. Relatively well-armoured, it is still quite nimble for a 55-tonner, able to dash at 86 km an hour. All told, it is an effective war machine, able to outshoot anything it can't outrun, and vice versa.